What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so, and I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. Also, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. It really helps out our YouTube channel. We got a lot going on here today as we go into the 4th of July holiday weekend. Happy 4th of July to you and your family. Let me know if you're doing anything interesting here for the 4th of July. As we go into the 4th of July weekend, we have a couple different things going on here as people are traveling and gas prices. I'll let you know what the president is saying here about that. And the travel industry is already saying that the July 4th weekend, airlines are warning passengers to prepare for issues already. Yeah, you can see here some passengers are already having flights canceled over the weekend, which is, barely just starting. And cancellations are the latest in a string of air travel woes during a chaotic summer travel season, which is really just starting. Passengers can take steps to minimize travel disruptions. Well, that's if the airlines don't straight up cancel flights on you. This is because demand for flights is up and airlines are stretched thin, trying to get people where they want to go. For travelers, it's more important than ever to, be patient and ready for changes, especially headed into the holiday weekend. That's sure to bring even bigger crowds to the airport than we've already seen. Just over 400 US flights have already been canceled, and nearly 1,700 flights were delayed just by Thursday afternoon already. Wow. So imagine what it's going to be like this whole weekend. And the reason for this is because airlines just don't have enough people, especially because, when we go back to the pandemic and after the pandemic, remember not too long ago, flying seats were tremendously cheap. And this is because of supply and demand. And remember that now the federal mask mandate is not even, you don't have to wear a mask on the plane, so you're not forced to. We've been talking a lot about that actually here in our government, with the government forcing people to do things or not. And choice, that's actually a big thing going on here right now with multiple different things here. And yeah, that's basically a hot topic of what's going on here in our country right now. But because of the waning demand, because of the virus and the pandemic and shutdowns, um, airline travel was really low demand for a while, and now it's ramping up pretty quickly. And airlines really don't have the employees, and so they're gonna maybe try to hire some, but you and I both know that that's easier said than done. And well, right now they're very behind. So they're already canceling hundreds of flights. It's going to end up being thousands over the course of this weekend. And what's going to be done? Well, here's what Senator Bernie Sanders says should be done. You can let me know your thoughts on this. Yeah, get this. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders is calling on Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg to take action amid these flight delays and cancellations. And Bernie is saying that the Biden administration should fine the airlines $27,500 per passenger for worsening flight delays. Here's what Senator Bernie Sanders has to say. Let me know your thoughts on this, because this is a lot of money here. Bernie says, quote, taxpayers bailed out the airline industry during their time of need, he said in a letter sent to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. He says, quote, now it is the responsibility of the airline industry and the Department of Transportation to ensure, to the maximum extent possible, that the flying public and crew members are able to get to their destinations on time and without delay. Sanders laid out some of the steps he wants the Biden administration to consider to penalize airlines for cancellations and delays. A $27,500 fine per passenger for domestic flight delays over 2 hours and international delays over 3 hours. This would, well, he says this may or would compel airlines to, quote, promptly refund all passengers for flights delayed over an hour, levying a $55,000 per passenger fine on airlines if they cancel flights that they know cannot be fully staffed. Other Democrats are seeking penalties on the airline industry as well, like John Fetterman, the Democratic Senate candidate in Pennsylvania, issued a similar call on Tuesday, arguing the Obama administration did take a similar action in 2009, which actually links to a regulation that the federal government did a get tough approach that has led to millions of extra dollars in sanctions and more pro-passenger rules, such as recent limits on how long a plane can wait on the tarmac to take off. Remember that actually? I do actually remember those issues. These changes are in stark contrast, aviation experts say, to the Bush years. Wow, this is from ABC News, when regulators essentially let the airlines police themselves. Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut and Ed Markey of Massachusetts also sent a letter on Wednesday to the 10 largest airline companies, which include Spirit, Delta, and United Airlines. They demand information on delays and other bottlenecks plaguing the industry, in addition to pressing them to provide timely ticket refunds to stranded passengers. As part of the initial CARES Act, the first stimulus package in March 2020, Congress and former President Trump approved roughly $50 billion for the major airline companies as the economy shut down and air travel halted. It came with strings attached, though, such as barring airlines from laying off workers and stock buybacks. That was a good... The stock buyback, barring that, was a good thing, right? The money was largely meant to keep airline employees on the job, but sector's workforce shrank due to voluntary buyouts in anticipation of a rebound that would take years. Now they're struggling to keep pace with pent-up demand for travel. So here we are, years later, and the travel industry is actually met with an unexpected problem. Apparently, demand is back up. And now they don't have enough employees. And now we're met with hundreds of canceled flights, thousands of delays already in the first 24 hours of the holiday weekend. Imagine what it's going to be like for the rest of the weekend. And really, almost every holiday weekend going on here. I mean, we've seen this in the past several holiday weekends here as well. Yeah, and all this when they took billions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money and used it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a sticky situation. Here's what Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says on the chaotic travel industry.
For millions of air travelers, the return to the skies has been a nightmare, with high demand, unpredictable weather, and pilot shortages, leading to more than 20,000 cancellations and 173,000 delays since Memorial Day. I sat down exclusively today with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg to ask him what more can be done ahead of July 4th. Is the July 4th holiday a recipe for disaster, given the issues with the system right now?
There are going to be challenges, but we're watching it closely, and we're talking to the airlines every day about their responsibility to make sure that they can accommodate any issues that weather or other curveballs might throw at them. A lot of people, including me, are expecting to get to loved ones over this holiday weekend, and we need a system that is resilient enough to get them there, plus good customer service when an issue does come up.
The airlines got a lot of money, over $50 billion. A lot of that was, the idea was that you wouldn't have to lay off people, that you could keep people employed.
So the point of this taxpayer funding was to keep people in their jobs. And one of the best things about the rescue plan, for example, was the news that airline employees were told to tear up their furlough notices when it came through. But we also saw that a lot of people, including pilots, were nudged into early retirement by the airlines. That certainly is something that reduced the labor force that right now we're really counting on. Often we're hearing the lack of a pilot ready to go cited as an issue or a problem that's contributing to a delay or a cancellation.
Would you support raising the mandatory retirement age for pilots? Right now it's 65. Would you support moving it past that?
Right now, we have these kinds of requirements based on safety judgments, and I haven't seen any change in the safety rationale for that.
You seem to be pointing the finger at the airlines. They're pointing the finger back, saying that the system is not working. The system is not staffed, the air traffic control system.
The majority of cancellations and the majority of delays have nothing to do with air traffic control staffing. But when there is an issue, we're working that issue. Jacksonville is a good example. They're really a perfect storm where you had staffing concerns, space launches, military activity affecting the airspace, and weather all hitting at once. So we took a collaborative approach, got with the airlines, worked on what was changing, especially in terms of more passengers than they expected coming back, and the need to allocate air traffic resources from FAA to work towards solutions.
You say there's no staffing issue with air traffic control. Are there other issues, though, within your purview that are slowing the system down?
Let me be clear. We have had our challenges with air traffic control, but they do not explain the majority of the cancellations and the delays that we've seen out there.
Mr. Secretary, when is this going to get better? When can people make an airline reservation and have a pretty good feeling about actually being on that flight?
Well, I expect the airlines to be working right now to address these issues. Look, some of these things we know are long-term, the pipeline of talent development for pilots, but a realistic schedule and good customer service, that's something that should be delivered right away. And it's a responsibility that the airlines have.
Meanwhile, the alternative for pretty much everybody else is high gas prices, all-time high gas prices. And, well, here's what President Biden has to say about that. Check this out.
Supposed to go down the list here. Jim Tankers, the New York Times.
Mr. President, thank you. This week, you and the G7 allies introduced a plan for an oil price cap for Russian exports, which is not yet filled out, and obviously is a response to the high price of gasoline in the United States and around the world. Are you confident that that cap would bring down prices for American drivers? And how long is it fair to expect American drivers to continue to pay a premium because of this war?
Let me hear this. The second part of the question was, would it bring down the price?
Will it bring down prices? And the war has pushed prices up. They could go as high as $200 a barrel, some analysts think. How long is it fair to expect American drivers and drivers around the world to pay that premium for this war?
As long as it takes. So Russia cannot, in fact, defeat Ukraine and move beyond Ukraine. This is a critical position for the world. Here we are. Why do we have NATO? I told Putin that, in fact, if he were to move, we would move to strengthen NATO. We would move to strengthen NATO across the board. Look, let me explain the price. I suggested a while ago that what we should consider doing is putting a cap on the amount of money that we would pay for, the world would pay for Russian oil. And that we would not provide, the West provides insurance, would not insure Russian ships carrying oil. We would not provide insurance for them, so they would have great difficulty getting customers. The point is that we've said to them, here's the deal. We're going to allow you to have a profit on what you make, but not the exorbitant prices that you're charging for the oil now. We've delegated a commission, a group of our national security people to sit down and work out that mechanism. We think it can be done. We think it can be done, and it would drive down the price of oil, and it would drive down the price of gasoline as well. In addition, at home, I have also called for changes. I've released 1 million barrels of oil per day from our oil reserve, and in addition to getting other nations to move forward, a total of 240 million barrels of oil to release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, number one. Number two, I've asked Congress, would they in fact go and temporarily end the tax on gasoline at the pump? And thirdly, to ask the states to do the same thing. If we do these things, it's estimated we could bring down tomorrow, if Congress agreed and the states agreed, we could bring down the price of oil about $1 a gallon at the pump, in that range. And so we could have immediate relief in terms of the reduction of the elimination of temporary elimination of the gas tax. And so I think there's a lot of things we can do and we will do, but the bottom line is, ultimately, the reason why gas prices are up is because of Russia. Russia. The reason why the food crisis exists is because of Russia. Russia not allowing grain to get out of Ukraine. And so that's the way in which I think we should move, and I think it would have a positive impact on the price at the pump as well.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. They're apparently trying to figure out ways to lower the price of oil, lower the price of gas. The president has also called on Congress to pause the federal gas taxes for 3 months, and he's called on all the states to pause the state gas taxes. We've actually seen both Republicans and Democratic governors say, to varying degrees, different governors think it's a good idea, some don't. It really depends. If you've been watching my channel, I'm trying to go through each and every state here as new type of stimulus and tax rebates, and states are giving money back to their people because they are just flush with cash. They have money from the last stimulus package, billions of dollars, and they're bringing in record amounts of money because unemployment is really, really low, and pretty much millions and millions of people are back to work, and that means tax revenues are up. So states have surplus money coming in every single month. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so, and I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here. You can click here to see new stimulus checks that are going out here in July. And you won't believe what Nancy Pelosi just did. You can click here to see that video as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.